Good evening and welcome. My name is April Butler with Texas Parks and Wildlife. We are excited that you have come to learn about the Bear Creek State Park site and want to share your thoughts to help us create a vision for what the park is to become. Please note that there is a Spanish version of this presentation available. The acquisition and development of Bear Creek directly aligns with our mission's goals of providing conservation and recreational opportunities for the public. Our agenda for this evening is to discuss the need for more state parkland, provide some site context, talk about our initial day use at the park, and an overview of our site analysis. We'll explain the public use plan process, share our updated public use plan, and proposed phasing strategy, and finish up with some interactive stations. At the conclusion of this presentation, there will be a QR code that will take you directly to our online survey. We encourage you to complete that survey and please share it with anyone else who may be interested. I would like to share our main project contacts with you all. This information is also available on the park's website. Again, my name is April Butler and I am the Park Development Coordinator. Also on the team is Maria Malone. Maria is our Centennial Park Planner, and Nathan Reynolds, who is our Park Superintendent. As you may or may not know, there is a real need for additional parkland in the state of Texas. You see the red dot on the screen? That's Travis County. If you combine the total acreage of all of our state parks, it will fit inside that county, and half of that is Big Bend Ranch State Park. I was shocked when I heard the statistic. Clearly, we have some work to do. Land is also being fragmented at an exponential rate. Roughly 1,000 acres of rural land, or more than a McKinney Falls State Park, is lost to development every day. Market values are also increasing rapidly, and as the state, we are expected to pay fair market value for the properties, not some exorbitant amount. Put all that together, and the time to buy land is now. That brings us to the Centennial Parks Conservation Fund. First of all, I want to say thank you, Texans. This endowment was passed with overwhelming support from the voters in 2023. So without all of you, we would not be here today. Since this is an endowment, we are only able to spend the interest on that $1 billion fund. So we will be adding parks for generations to come. Bear Creek State Park is one of 4 projects currently being developed with this fund. And that means that we must balance the needs and priorities of all 4 properties when considering what to include in this park. With this new fund also comes a timeline. We want to get Texans out on these parks as soon as possible. So within 12 months of acquisition, we are offering facilitated public day use. At Bear Creek, this is happening right now. Some of you may have already joined Nathan for one of his legendary hikes. Within 18 months of closing, we will be offering expanded public day use. At Bear Creek, this will be available in February of 2027, so right around the corner. You will have access to a trailhead parking lot, a vault toilet, and 2 hiking destinations utilizing the existing Ranch Road network. You will be able to make a reservation online, receive a gate code, and start enjoying the property. Within 48 months of closing, the park will be fully open. Building upon the day use opportunities in that initial opening, we will be adding an array of overnight opportunities, like drive-up or backpack tent sites. We will also be making improvements to the roads, utilities, and back-of-house facilities to support full public use. What we construct in the first 48 months will only be a portion of the long-term public use plan. We will continue to develop the remainder of the plan in future phases. The Centennial Parks Conservation Fund is just one of the tools in our tool belt. As you can see here, the red stars represent the 4 properties that are being developed with this fund. We are also developing new parks using the sporting goods sales tax, like Palo Pinto in the DFW area or Powderhorn down on the coast. In addition to new parks, we are also making improvements to our existing parks, like the new headquarters at Inks Lake, or expanding properties such as Caprock Canyons or Lake Brownwood State Parks. Building a new park is like building a small city from scratch. These sites are remote, so we often can't connect to city utilities and need to build a new water or wastewater plant. While we do have existing ranch roads, we need to improve these to be suitable for safe public use and emergency response needs. We also have to build all the components necessary for a state park to function, like those day use, overnight, and operational facilities. Lastly, we want to create an inclusive and expansive trail network, whether that is hiking, biking, equestrian, interpretive, and more. Let's take a look at the site context and learn a bit more about this unique property. The site sits in the Hill Country region and falls in the Edwards Plateau, a significant geologic system that spans several counties. It is about a 40-minute drive from Uvalde, an hour and a half from San Antonio, and about 3 hours from Austin. There are also many state parks nearby, creating opportunities for multi-day experiences. The site is also located on the Frio River, just down the street from Garner State Park, one of our most popular parks. Primary access to the park will be via County Road 349. While Bear Creek and Garner are very similar in total acreage, we are looking to complement existing parks rather than duplicate the experiences that are already offered across the river. Garner offers a wide range of recreational opportunities, so we would like to highlight some of the backcountry opportunities here at Bear Creek State Park. And with that, I'm going to pass this to Nathan to tell you about our initial day use at the site.
Thank you, April. Good evening. I am the superintendent at Bear Creek State Park. The property was purchased in 2025. Since that time, we've been busy with the initial public use. As we approach our first year at the park, we have been getting to know our neighbors and have already led several successful guided hikes. Community members, Garner staff, local Texas Master Naturalist chapter members, first responders, and descendants of the Kelly family have been among the list of attendees, and there will be many more to come. We were also fortunate enough to host a site visit with the Kickapoo Traditional Tribe of Texas and welcome other tribal members that have an interest in the park. Construction will soon be underway for our initial day use trailhead with a February 2027 opening right around the corner. You will be able to experience some of the breathtaking views you see here on the right. Our accessible loop will highlight initial restoration practices on the southern end, as well as take you through a more established pecan grove on the northern end. And of course, there is the rugged hike up to our iconic overlook with sweeping views both of Bear Creek State Park and the back of Old Baldy at Garner. Building a park takes a great team. Here at Texas Parks and Wildlife, we are lucky to have a wide range of experts who work with us, from architects and engineers to biologists and archaeologists. We also work with outside entities such as the counties and utility providers to develop the best park possible. For this project, we have also contracted an external firm to help with the design of the project. McKinney York Architects is the prime consultant, and they built an amazing team full of knowledge on everything from accessibility to sustainability. Working with them has been such a pleasure. And we are so excited to show you our early concepts. And with that, I will pass it to Maria.
Thank you, Nathan. Hi, everyone. My name is Maria Malone, and I am the Centennial Park Planner for Texas Parks and Wildlife. I am so excited to be here with you tonight. So we've been studying the property for several months now. What do we know so far? We have lovingly begun to call this our Thread the Needle Park. As you will soon see, it is rich with resources. Starting by looking at the geography, in the bottom left you will see a slope analysis of the site. The red is showing steep terrain, while the green is flatter, making it more suitable for development. Steep terrain makes it more challenging to construct, is more sensitive to erosion, and is often habitat for some of our protected species. In the top right, we have a floodplain analysis. It is typically not best practice to construct in the floodplain for safety, ecological, and long-term maintenance considerations. As a part of this project, we conducted a detailed flood study to show us the pockets where we can responsibly develop and the areas we would want to avoid. And finally, in the bottom right, we have a viewshed analysis from our primary overlook. The green is showing everything that is visible from that overlook, both looking towards our park and back towards Garner State Park. To maintain the backcountry feel we are aiming for, we want to minimize development inside that viewshed whenever possible. Taking a look at some of our natural resources, as April mentioned earlier, Bear Creek falls within the Edwards Plateau ecosystem, known as the Hill Country. More specifically, it is in the Balcones Canyonlands. This ecosystem is defined by steep topography which harbors microclimates. Microclimates are areas where environmental conditions are different from surrounding areas, higher humidity, cooler temperatures, and more shade. The site has a high diversity of native habitats, 12 total. These include steep slopes and ravine woodlands, plateau ridgetops and floodplain savannas, and wetlands. The riparian habitats along the Frio and creeks show high diversity. Along Bear Creek, amazingly perennial springs keep pools of water thriving even during drought. We have been fortunate to find many rare species on the site, including the federally listed golden-cheeked warbler that calls the wooded slopes home. We have just wrapped up our first year of surveys and have located many territories throughout the site. Several other rare species that only occur in the Edwards Plateau have also been identified since our first round of public engagement, and these surveys are ongoing, so there will likely be many more to come. Looking at the cultural resources of Bear Creek State Park, the story begins at the confluence of Bear and Spring Creeks. In 1870, Abe and Sue Kelly established their homestead here, giving rise to the small community of Kelly, Texas. Early settlers farmed, ranched, and built a schoolhouse, and several of their structures, such as the Kelly Ranch House, still define the landscape today. The Bear Creek Cemetery remains as a resting place for early settlers, including the Kelly, Rankin, and Mills families. As planning for the new park moves forward, oral history interviews help us preserve the community's living memory and capture important site context. We've completed several interviews already and welcome anyone with connections to the Bear Creek area to reach out. In addition to documenting early European settlement, TPWD continues to collaborate with local tribes. The Kickapoo Traditional Tribe of Texas, mentioned earlier by Nathan, visited the park. We hope to continue engagement with them. Archaeological and architectural surveys are also nearing completion, and they've revealed some exciting discoveries. Acacia Heritage Consulting has identified multiple significant resources, including a second cemetery. Meanwhile, Hudson Gallagher is evaluating existing historic structures to document their condition, significance, and potential future uses. This map is showing our current understanding of the development feasibility at this site. We combined each of the individual sensitivity maps to create the composite map on the right. Areas where you can see the site imagery are considered developable, while those excluded would not be suitable for development. If you remember this map from the first round of public engagement, you may notice there are a few more areas that are excluded. Since we are still conducting several of our resource studies, we have updated this graphic to reflect our new understanding of the site. Our assessment so far has revealed that over 60% of the site may have sensitive elements, which informs where we construct new roads and buildings. We are also being mindful to create buffer zones around the park boundaries and adjacent private properties. Next, I'll walk you through the public use planning process and where we are today. But first, what exactly is a public use plan? Well, the public use plan will guide future activities, resource allocation, and land management at Bear Creek State Park. This plan will become the overall vision for what Bear Creek can support in terms of development. It is likely more than can be accomplished in the 4-year timeline, but will set the framework for future development. So what does that planning look like? As you learned on the last few slides, we start by gaining an understanding of the property and its unique features through site visits, resource surveys, and data research. These studies range from flood studies to archaeological investigations, and everything in between. Several of these studies, like the Golden Cheek Warbler surveys, are completed over many seasons to establish a solid baseline for the property. We use the information collected to inform the future development of the park. Once we have a basic understanding of the site, we begin setting goals and guiding principles for the development. What are the strengths we would like to highlight, and what are the sensitive elements we want to conserve? How can we best meet our visitor needs? After we have established our goals, we put pen to trace paper and dive into conceptual development. This is where we get those big ideas on paper. What types of recreation could we offer at the site, and generally, where should it go? That brings us to the public engagement phase, the reason you are all here today. We are starting our second round of public engagement and can't wait to hear everything you would like to see at the park. And finally, all this work will result in a public use plan. This is something we develop for each of the parks in our system, like a few of the examples you see here. Now, let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first round of public engagement. Back in March, we held our first round of public meetings in San Antonio and Uvalde. Since then, we have updated our plans based on the additional findings and the feedback we heard. When we asked visitors to identify the top 3 day-use experiences they'd like to see at the park, backcountry experiences led the pack. River recreation emerged as the next most popular interest, followed closely by birding. For overnight opportunities, cabins and drive-up tent camping shared the top spot. Backpacking came in next, with walk-in tent camping close behind. As for preferred trail types, natural surface trails were the clear favorite. Sticking with the theme, backcountry trails remained a strong second choice, and interpretive trails rounded out the top 3. When asked what folks were most excited to see in the new park, the feedback was clear. Comments like protect cultural resources, maintain quiet recreation opportunities, and keep development minimal were in the overwhelming majority. Now that you have learned a little about the Centennial Fund, the site, and the planning process, let's build the updated public use plan together, piece by piece. Starting with our blank base map, we'll layer in the road network. The park's main entrance will welcome you in from County Road 349, right at the southeastern corner of the property. Next come the day-use facilities. As you wind through the trees, the landscape opens into a sunny clearing where the headquarters awaits, your first stop to launch your adventure. After checking in, you'll glide over to our repurposed Phase 1 trailhead. From here, you can wander towards one of our scenic wetlands for wildlife viewing, or stroll the restoration loop we're so excited to share. Continue further into the park, and you'll reach the heart of it all, the Nature Center. This lively hub celebrates everything that makes this place so special. From here, the entire park opens up. Head north to climb the ridge, east to explore our historic loop, south to the restoration trail or the dark sky viewing area, or west towards the campgrounds. As we add overnight facilities to the map, you'll notice we're embracing a light touch approach through a low density of campsites. Our developed campground will offer a mix of drive-up and walk-in tent sites, along with the nearby group camping area. Beyond the ridge, the backcountry holds multiple primitive backpacking sites, some perched along ridgetops, others tucked into quiet canyons. To keep operations efficient and utilities streamlined, back-of-house areas, including the maintenance yard and staff residences, are clustered near the headquarters. An additional residence on the Frio side helps ensure full coverage so we can best serve visitors. Finally, we weave everything together with a trail network. In the front country, accessible paths connect major destinations, supported by boardwalks and improved crossings at creeks. The backcountry features winding hike and bike trails, including a route that leads all the way down to the Frio River. In the most sensitive areas, trails shift to hiking only to protect the resources we're here to steward. Several backcountry campsites will also be reachable by mountain bike for those chasing a bike-packing adventure. Ready to zoom in? Let's explore some of these spaces in more detail. First stop, the headquarters. Emerging from the oaks, you'll spot the modest headquarters tucked carefully into the site. Set above the floodplain, thoughtfully placed to protect trees and celebrate the views. The building features 2 drive-up lanes, a fee booth, staff offices, restrooms, and parking for visitors, buses, and staff. Inside, you can check in for your overnight stay, browse the park store, and then head out to continue your journey. Next up, the Nature Center. Following the path through the Pecan Bottom, another clearing reveals the Nature Center with its stunning views of Coffin Mountain. Parking stretches along the western tree line to protect the viewshed and keep cars cool in the afternoon shade. A short boardwalk leads you into a space full of educational programming and interactive exhibits. Nestled between the building and the nature playscape sits a small classroom for ranger-led learning. Cross the creek and wind your way towards the historic Kelly Ranch House, now reimagined as a welcoming group pavilion perfect for family picnic. Continue along Bear Creek to visit the Bear Creek Cemetery, then slip back under the trees towards the site of the second cemetery. Looping back to the Nature Center, you can look north towards the Overlook, your final stop before venturing into the backcountry for a deeper nature immersion. Now that you've checked in, explored the history, and wandered the front country loops, it's time to set up camp. Drive-up sites offer water and electricity, while walk-in sites provide a quieter, tucked-away experience with water available nearby. Sites are nestled into the trees for privacy and to create that cozy outdoor room feel. A communal campfire sits at the center of the campground, ready for ranger-led evening programs. Whether you're headed to the nature playscape or joining one of our night sky events, an accessible trail leads right back to the Nature Center, only a short walk away. For thrill seekers, the campground connects directly to the backcountry trail system. Dedicated parking for backcountry campers sits along the main spine, where you can set off towards a variety of primitive sites, some designed for solitude, others arranged in small clusters for groups. You may have noticed we have not shown any cabins on the enlarged plan. Why is that? After considering the public ask for low-impact recreation, our desire to complement the cabin experience at Garner State Park, and the abundance of rentable facilities in the area, we determined focusing on tent camping was the most appropriate for this site. You've almost made it through the front country. Let's zoom in once more to the group camping area. Located on its own spur, this area gives larger groups like Scouts the space they need. A vault toilet sits off the road, and a short trail leads into the camping area. The site is fully accessible and includes a pavilion and fire ring for shared meals and classic campfire fun. Water and electricity are available at the pavilion. And just like that, we're back to the full public use plan. Did you enjoy the journey? As we've mentioned throughout today's presentation, what you've seen is our long-term vision for this remarkable site. To be good stewards of public funds and to balance the needs across all Centennial properties, we'll be bringing this vision to life in phases. Looking back at the priorities identified during our first round of public engagement, it was encouraging to see how strongly the community emphasized resource conservation, highlighting dark skies, backcountry exploration, river recreation, tent camping, and educational opportunities. For the 2029 opening, we're focusing on delivering exactly those experiences: an expansive trail network with routes into the rugged backcountry and down to the Frio River, opportunities for wildlife viewing, immersive nature experiences, and a range of overnight options. As we move deeper into design, we'll continue refining cost estimates so we can clearly define what the initial build-out will support and ensure we're delivering the highest value experiences to the community. Thank you all for joining us for this presentation. We want to provide an opportunity for you to offer feedback on several key topics, so we have organized the online questionnaire to mimic the stations that were held at the public meeting. Please follow the link to participate in the online questionnaire, which will be open until August 13th, 2026. We appreciate your participation in the visioning of this amazing site, and we can't wait to see you at Bear Creek State Park.